Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today we are thinking about birthdays. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a thinker and something that we really need to think about. So thankfully, I have Tamar here who's going to be helping us think about this in a whole new light. So with that being said, thank you so much, Tamar, for coming onto my show, sharing your
Thank you,
time and your
Mitzi.
perspective. I'm excited about this. So when you think of birthdays, what does that make you think about?
For me, it makes me think of a whole host of feelings that we all experience. Some of us are very birthday positive. We love our birthdays. Some of us are birthday avoidant. We can't stand our birthdays. We want to ignore our birthdays. They're a source of pain and anxiety for us. And so I wrote a book called How to Have a Happy Birthday. And it's a self-help book so that people can have a happier birthday, whether they're birthday avoidant or even birthday positive, because there's always something more we can do to bring more meaning and fulfillment to our birthday. Because I believe it's a really spiritual day. I believe it's the most important day of our year, and that we're all worth celebrating just one day a year.
Oh, I know, right? Just at least one day a year. Just
Yeah.
give yourself one day. Oh my goodness. Yes. That is something that I am trying to get onto the positive side because I was on the negative side for so long. Oh my goodness, so long. So yeah, so when I
Can you
finally took
share with
that.
us? Can you share with us why?
Yeah, the reason why is because my birthday was in the beginning of the year, and because my birthday was in the beginning of the year, my family never had enough money to do anything for me. So or when they did have enough money, they decided to take a vacation instead. So they would leave us and with whoever was willing to take me and my sisters. So for me, I always just felt like that was just they always pushed me aside, you know what I mean? As
Yeah,
compared to my sisters, they were in like, the early summer and in October, so because of that, they always had the finances to do something for them. So for me,
sure.
going forward, I was just like, oh, I don't care, just another day, because that's how they always made me feel. So
Yeah.
then I was just like, I started to go on this movement of just like fixing myself, connecting myself, loving myself. And that was one thing that I realized, like, you know what? I can love myself every day of the year until it gets around March. You know what I mean? Then, oh, you know what I mean? I don't even like to even bring it up. But now I'm just like, okay, I'm okay with it. This was the first year that I was just like, if somebody wants to do something, then I am not going to reject it. I'm not going to be like, it's no big deal. I'm going to be like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's step forward. And I did that and I felt so much better. And I'm like, you know what? I can learn to celebrate myself because I owe myself that much. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's just to
Yeah.
give myself that moment of just love. And so yeah, so when this opportunity came to me to talk about birthdays and the fact that you wrote a book about this, I love it. I love the idea of it. I love how you are helping other people acknowledge this because I even spoken with another woman about birthdays and she was on the negative side too, but
Yeah.
her story was just like was the fact that knowing that it was another year you didn't meet your goals. You know what I mean? So it was like
Yeah.
it was like a timestamp of realizing like, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't make it. I didn't do it. You know what I mean? So it was always very negative in her aspect. But then we started realizing like we have to step forward in love when it comes to our birthdays. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think this is a great way to do that. So I guess how exactly did you frame your book?
Well, I talked about why it's so important to celebrate our birthdays. I mean, it's the day our life began, and we are all miracles, and we all deserve to be celebrated at least one day a year, right? Everybody lets us have our birthday. Everybody knows that when it's our birthday, we get to shine and sparkle, and they're happy for us. So let's take that day and use it and access the power that the birthday gives us to be in alignment with ourselves, to express some gratitude for ourselves. When's the last time we said, hey, thank you for being me. Thank you, me, for being me, right? Let's be grateful for ourselves and how we show up in the world the best that we can. We're not perfect. We're not all
Yeah.
meeting our goals, but we can all make a list of ways that we are grateful for our energy in the world and the ways that we're helping make life better for ourselves, for others. So birthdays are powerful in that they give us an opportunity to center our lives one day a year on ourselves. But there are major holidays. So just like any major holiday, we've got to plan for them. You got to start thinking about it at least a month in advance. What would you like to do? I suggest you take the day off work if you can, or at least take the morning off or the evening off. If you want to go have dinner at your favorite restaurant, make that reservation. If you want to have friends join you, invite them so that They can say yes, and they can't say, oh, I'm
Yeah.
too busy. You can't wake up on your birthday and expect people to just show up. You got to plan
Yeah.
for it. So think of what you want to do. Allow yourself to do what you want to do, and don't feel pressure to do anything you don't want to do. Sometimes we're people pleasers, and we feel like, oh, I have to have a party to invite these people because they'll be upset that I'm turning, 40 and I'm not inviting them. It's okay. Maybe you don't want a party when you turn 40. Maybe you want to go off on a trip by yourself or a road, whatever. Do what you want. But the point is, do what you want and allow yourself to celebrate yourself. And as far as what you said about the woman you spoke to, and she said birthdays reminded her that she hadn't met her goals, I just want to be honest about that. Birthdays are a personal new year.
Yeah.
And yes, let's look forward to the coming year. Let's take stock of our life. Let's identify the areas we would like to change and improve. Let's use our birthdays to say, okay, this coming year, I would like to take these actions to help improve my life in this way, and I will do my best. And just give yourself a year. Don't, sometimes our goals are really need 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And so if I didn't achieve it in a year, of course I'm going to be upset with myself. A year goes by quickly. So try and
Yeah.
make your goals, your birthday goals measurable. And it's not like a New Year's resolution, I'm going to go to the gym, but like, what are ways that I can feel more joy in my life in the coming year? Let me make a list of the 5 ways that I can generate joy. And it's simple stuff. It doesn't have to be complicated, right?
Yeah.
So find ways to succeed when it comes to looking for the year ahead so that when your next birthday comes, you can say, you know what? Yeah, I did really well this past year. I took stock and I made my birthday something powerful and special for me.
Absolutely. And it's just the fact that you survived a whole year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A whole year. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I've been dealing with so much death lately around me and just close to me, and just to know that, I'm still alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still breathing, I'm still whole, I'm still healthy, I'm still intact. You know what I mean? Like I may be banged and bruised with a couple scratches, but I am still walking. Like that right there is something to celebrate. Just your life, the
That's
air in your
right.
lungs, your heart beating. Like even if you can't walk, even if whatever your situation is, I mean, you still have life. And to celebrate that another year, I mean, for me, that's where I'm going forward to. Like now I'm just like, that's my minimum right there. Just the fact that I'm alive, I
Yeah.
should have to be able to have the opportunity to celebrate that. Like you said,
Yes.
go out to eat, buy that shirt that you always been wanting to buy.
Yeah.
Buy those shoes that you always been wanting. Go get your nails done if you want to. Go eat whatever you want to go eat. You know what I mean? Leave the kids at home. Do whatever you gotta do.
Yeah.
Like that's truly your personal day. Because like you said, there's holidays we plan for, we get together with family, we celebrate other people. Oh, how we are easily able to celebrate other people
Yes.
before ourselves. That right there,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, if you are in that position, this is the opportunity to realize like this is the day that you can
Yeah.
truly be selfish and
Yeah.
with no remorse. Am I
That's
right?
right. That's absolutely right, Mitzi. You're saying it absolutely right. And, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of us are people pleasers, and
Yeah.
that's okay. The problem with being a people pleaser is it sometimes makes us disappear, right? We're
Yeah.
thinking about other people, not about ourselves. And I want to just say this is very different than being of service to others. A lot of us are hardwired to be in service through our
Mhm.
work, through our role in our family. That's different than being a people pleaser. And I just want to separate that out so we're clear. But
Absolutely.
sometimes for those of us that are people pleasers and on different,
Levels. Yeah.
intensities, right?
Yeah.
The birthday is an opportunity to say, time out. Today's about me. It's not about pleasing anybody else or taking care of anybody else. It's about what do I want to do? And when we ask ourselves, what do I want? Even when we buy ourselves a birthday present, like you just said, like, what do I want? It gives us an opportunity to actually take stock with ourselves on the inside and ask questions that are so essential to having a happy life. What do I want? Not what does society want of me? Not just what my family need from me. What do I want for me? A lot of us don't know the answer, and it can be
Yeah.
painful. It can make us want to cry, right?
Oof.
Like, I don't even know where to
Yeah.
begin. And so the
Mm-hmm.
birthday can actually be a healing moment for us when we tenderly take ourselves by the hand and say, "Hey, what would you like to do on your birthday? Let's do it together." And
Yeah.
let's expand into ourselves more and more. And it's a practice. It's a
Yeah.
practice. And we get one day a year to practice expanding into our true nature on our birthdays. But if we plan for it, if we approach it with an open heart and a willingness, it's amazing what kind of transformation can happen. Birthdays are magical. There's so much energy there for us. And there's also, emotion that can come in the days leading up to it. A lot of people feel anxious. Even people, I'm birthday positive. It's taken me many, many years to become this way. Even as my birthday approaches, I still feel like almost like, you know, when the new year's coming in December and you
That
feel like this,
anxious, yeah.
yeah, like something's changing. Well, it is. Your
Yeah.
personal new year is ending and beginning. And so sometimes we have unresolved emotions that are there. Sometimes we have clutter we need to clear, whether it's psychological or physical, that we just feel like let's do the work so that when our birthday comes, there's a clear, clean energy that we can dive into that can uplift us and nurture us. It's amazing how powerful birthdays can be if we take charge of them and do what we want and allow ourselves to have that kind of experience.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that. I think you said it perfectly because I think if we just take that moment back, that will be like the ultimate day of self-love. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Love
Yeah.
yourself in a way
Yeah.
where you don't have to you don't have to explain it to
That's
anybody. You
right.
know what I mean? Because you were given life. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And because you were given life at this day, you should be able to celebrate it. Like one thing I love that my sister's doing with her kids is that if the day falls on like let's say it's for instance my niece, she was born on Friday the 13th, so anytime there's a Friday the 13th that's together, they'll celebrate it. And every time there's like, you know what I mean, things like that, she'll celebrate it with her kids. And I think that's a great way because it reconnects you back to who you are and why you're here to just
Yeah.
keep going. And I was like, you know what, that's a great thing, I should start doing that with my sons. You know what I mean? Because it just brings us back to reality. Like we still have moments that we should be able to celebrate ourselves. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
people don't necessarily celebrate themselves enough for just the minor accomplishments. You know what I mean? For just
Right.
getting a job, for not after having a job for so long. You should
That's
celebrate
right.
that. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Losing weight after finally losing weight. Celebrate that. You know what I mean? Getting an award that you weren't even expecting. Celebrate that. You know what I mean? All of these little moments that are unexpected, people should learn how to celebrate that. I mean, for you, do you think that's something that people have trouble with, is with that self-love and that understanding?
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought that up. Self-love is a big topic, especially in the self-help world and healing. Love
Yeah.
yourself, love yourself. What I've come to realize is that a lot of us don't even like ourselves.
Oh,
How can we
yes.
love ourselves if we don't even like ourselves, right? And let's just call
Exactly.
that out, right? There's a lot of internal
Mhm.
struggle we might feel. So I think birthdays, I think self-love is awesome. It's hard to achieve, and maybe you achieve moments of it. Let's achieve self-friendship, self-like. Can we find our inner friend? You know, can you start to have conversations with yourself like you would a friend? I remember years ago, I was up really late, I was kind of goofy, and I thought something funny and I started laughing. And I realized in that moment, like, oh, I get my own jokes. Like, oh, my inner friend came out, like, that's right, girl. I get your jokes. Keep at them, you know? And I started to form a relationship with myself as a friend, as someone who
Yeah.
understood me deeply, who cared about me
Yeah.
deeply, who got my jokes, right? And so trying to take yourself once again by the hand as a friend and say, hey, friend, what do you want to do for your birthday this coming year? Let's make it happen. I think that's an easier entry into a path of self love if we start with self like and we give it a try. We're not going to like everything about ourselves, some of us more than others, less than others, right?
Yeah.
But that's a journey. That's a lifetime journey, right? I think by the
Exactly.
time, you know, we're born and by the time we end our lives, if we can form a positive relationship with ourselves, I think that's a big success in life. That we're not having those negative voices in our head, those critical voices, those judgmental voices, those voices that actually aren't ours, but we've adopted and
Yeah.
taken them as ours.
Yeah.
We've got to, you know, call them out, push them back, and start to plant the seeds of positivity in our thinking. And I do want to say something
Absolutely.
about birthdays that can be hard for people, especially women, as we
Yeah.
age, go into our middle ages and perimenopause ages and even postmenopause.
Yes.
Aging can be hard because our body changes. We don't recognize ourselves, but also society puts a lot of value on youth, right? We see it in the
Yes.
advertisements, we see it on social media. I understand that that's a thing. I don't buy it. How dare I be made to feel ashamed just because I'm 59 years old? How dare
Exactly.
somebody say I am less visible, less valuable, less important, less attractive because I'm
Right.
59? And I am 59. Like, nobody gets to say that. You can think all
Yeah.
you want, but to make it something that I own as true, I'm not buying it. That's my choice. And so I really want to say that whatever society's message are about aging and women, and we need to look young, we need to be sexy, let's push that out as those noises out there and not take it on as true. I refuse to take those opinions about me as true because nobody gets to define me. That's my
Ab
choice.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm glad that you said that because I was just talking to somebody else about that, like and just by the way, for 59, you are beautiful for 59, you know what I mean? I just wanna say that real quick, but I just also wanna add that, like, people do need to start talking to themselves correctly, you know what I mean? And
Yes,
nicely and be kinder to themselves because I was talking to my sister about this too, my other sister, and I was just like, "You gotta think of yourself as whole." You know what I mean? Imagine a stained glass window. You see them as different pieces connected and it looks broken for some people's viewpoint, but in reality it's whole. It's one beautiful artwork. It's one piece, and that's all that you are. And so you need to start seeing yourself like that. You may have different stages, different colors, different all that it is, but when it's one piece, it is beautiful because if you ever seen a stained glass window in churches or monuments or wherever that they have it, even in homes, oh, I love them. You know what I mean? They really bring value. And that's what we are. We have that value and we don't see that. So, yes, the fact that you said that is something that we really need to like continue forward and move in a way of just knowing that I have value. And if the person in front of me doesn't see that value, then that's okay. I'm not their cup of tea. I'm not made for them. And it just makes me easier to go on to the next person because out of the
that's right.
billions and trillions of
That's
people
right.
out in this world, I'm not going to get hung up on one. I'm not going to get hung up on 10. I'm not going to get hung up on 100 people that may not like me. Great. That means 100 less people that I don't have to worry about. Let me continue forward. And I think that's where knowing your self-worth that you will continue forward no matter who says what about you because you got to recognize there's way to get feedback and you got to know when to receive certain comments and things like that as feedback, but then you also got to know yourself well enough to know that that's nonsense, and
That's
nonsense
right.
doesn't play in my heart, doesn't play in who I am because I know who I am, right? And it's like as a woman, like you said, when we're growing and evolving, then we have to embrace each stage that we are. And the people who expect a 40-year-old to look like they're 20, shame on you. And I have a little question for your mindset because you know what I mean? That makes me highly suspicious where your heart is leading you because you expect a 40-year-old to look like they're 20-year-old. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's
Right.
that's not right, you know? And it's like for me, I'd rather be around people who can see someone who's 59 years old and see, oh, look at the beauty, look at the wisdom, look at all that she's been through and more, and she's still surviving. Like that right there, those are the people that we need around us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
it reminds us that we are still whole. And if we don't have those people around us, then we need to remind ourselves that we are still whole because we're never going to have an audience and we don't need an audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
You
Right.
just need you. And I think
Right.
celebrating your birthday gives you that time to be you. You know
Yes.
what I mean? You relentlessly and you beautifully as you are. If you want to wake up messy hair, go ahead, honey, wake up messy hair because you're still beautiful, right? You're
That's right.
breathing, you're existing, so do it. Nobody knows it's messy hair and nobody can define it as messy unless you claim it, right? So it's just like, just do whatever that really brings you joy. And it's
Yeah.
like you said, it's like, what brings you joy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we have to really sit down and ask ourselves these things. And that's why I have this show. People just think about it. Think about your birthdays. Think about how you're loving yourself. Think about what motivates you to know what is love. You know what I mean? What does love it defines for you, and how can you see it, acknowledge it within yourself? And if you don't, well, then you need to reverse that because you are already beautiful as you are, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, this is such a great conversation. I feel like we can continue on in so many directions, but time is truly catching up to us. So, what can be some lasting words of wisdom that you can leave us off with to keep on thinking?
Well, if anybody wants to read my book or learn more about me or contact me, it's go to howtohaveahappybirthday.com and you can, learn all about me, learn about the book, ebook, audiobook. It's on Amazon. And I just want to encourage all your listeners to consider the very real truth
Mm.
that they are miracles, that they are special, and that no matter where they are in their life and what the relationship to themselves is or to others, that one day a year on your birthday, you are royalty and you get to shine and sparkle and embrace as much good energy as you could absorb. But it's up to you to take charge of your day and be empowered to make it what you want to be. So I hope everybody that's listening has a happier birthday the next time it comes around.
Oh, yes. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, If you wanna know more about Tamar, because how could you not after this conversation? Tell me, how could you not, right? Please go check her out. I have access to her website in the description if you're listening in audio or on YouTube, you can find the website right there. Or if you're on my website, just find her lovely photo, click on it, and it goes directly to her site. Content that is great for us to continue on thinking. And how could you not, right? Isn't that the point of this show? Yes, to keep on thinking, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, bye.